Welcome to Homeschool video number 4. I'm very excited as we continue to work our way through Homeschool Basketball's national rankings from the 2014 and 2015 season. Now, these are the final rankings. All season long rankings are done. In fact, I think there's about 6 or 7 different rankings throughout the year, starting with the preseason rankings. And as we work our way through these final rankings, we'll talk about where teams were at the beginning of the year compared to where they finished the year. And so today we're going to be actually going over the national ranking of number 5 in homeschool basketball. We've got number 1, we went over Oklahoma City Storm, the undisputed homeschool basketball national champion for the 3rd straight year, cementing their return to dynasty status. The CHSM Crimson Knights out of Houston finished the season number 2. Wisconsin's Lakeshore Thunder finished the season number 3. And the Indianapolis Wildcats finished the season number 4. All of those were record finishes. Those are the highest finishes of any of those programs. CHSM, Lakeshore, Indy Wildcats. And here we are with yet another team that had a historical finish, and it's the Kansas City Metro Mavericks. They finished the season with 35 wins and beat out some top competition for this number 5 spot. In fact, one of the unique things about this Kansas City Metro Maverick team is their story is of a team that made the best regardless of where they were ranked, and they just came out and played every game and played their best. And I think that's one of the exciting things when you see the rankings is like the Oklahoma City Storm. They were wire to wire the number 1 team in the nation. CHSM, we talked about them, preseason number 9, so they had some hype behind them. Indy Wildcats were in the top 8 nationally in the preseason, so again, some more hype. Metro Mavericks, 28th in the preseason rankings. So it's really exciting. Now, what they did was really remarkable. They went from 28th in the preseason to number 26 in November's rankings, and they jumped from 26 all the way up to number 14 by December. They moved up to number 11 in January, and they held pat at number 11 in February. Then went into regionals. They had lost to their rival. I had a chance to talk to Coach Sullivan, and when I talked to him, I asked him about this Kansas City Metro Mavericks and Kansas City East Lions rivalry. Coach Sullivan, for those of you who are new to homeschool basketball, he's the longest tenured coach in homeschool basketball. We've had a lot of coaches, and that's not to say like Mike Decker with HCYA Warriors. He's been with that program for 25 years, but Robin Sullivan's been the head coach of the varsity team longer than any other homeschool basketball coach, boys or girls, to my knowledge, and I don't think it's even close. I know he was coaching when I was playing, just to give you an idea of how long ago that was, and I haven't played about 14 years. So he's been around for a long time, and it's great seeing his team have a banner year. Won their first ever gold ball in Class 2A. So very exciting for the Metro Maverick program. And I say first ever gold ball, I'm talking about that's Coach Sullivan's first ever gold ball. That's the Kansas City Metro Mavericks boys' first ever gold ball. Of course, their girls, one of the few teams that have won an undisputed national championship, and Gary and Stacy Spaney have been there. They're, I believe, the longest tenured varsity girls coaches. And so we'll be talking about the girls another time, but that's another great team. And in fact, they had a great year as well, Kansas City Metro Mavericks. And on the girls' side, and I know the fans are super proud of what their girls have accomplished, and they also won a gold ball. So for you Metro fans, it was a great year overall. One of the things that made this year unique was, going back to the rivalry with Kansas City East, is Kansas City East, the entire season was in front of Metro. And a big part of that was the actual result during the year in which Kansas City East won that result. And another part of that was that the previous year, in 2013 and 14 season, KC Metro Mavericks went 20 and 22 on the season. What a difference from 20 and 22 to 35 and 10. So one of the unique factors in that run there for Metro is the only two teams that have a winning record against the Metro Mavericks for the year were the Oklahoma City Storm, undisputed national champion, and that took place in the regional semifinals in Kansas City. And that would be the Heartland regional that were there. And then the other team that they had a losing record to were the Indianapolis Wildcats, who defeated them in just an incredible game in the Gold Ball Showdown Series quarterfinals. The winner went on to their first ever national Final Four, and the Metro Mavericks fell short in really one of the best Gold Ball Showdown quarterfinal matches of the year. And the thing about it is, Coach Sullivan, I'm taking a quick look at my notes, they've got a great returning cast. I got to talk about some of the players they lost, and again, with the whole aspect of the rankings, I want to kind of wrap that up. Teams all year long, I talk to coaches all year, hey, our team's underrated, our team should be ranked higher, our team, and I love the correspondence, and I encourage the correspondence and all the rankings all year long on hslive365.com. Put my email address there, and coaches are welcome to contact me. You know, Coach Sullivan and I have probably had one phone call in all my time working with the rankings, and that was when I called him this year to talk to him about this particular team. And so, you know, it's just something where they just play their games, they show up, and Kansas City Metro Mavericks and Coach Sullivan, when they have the talent, they maximize it. And some years you just don't have it. Last year they had young talent. They got knocked off in the Class 3A quarterfinals by the San Marcos Panthers. And this year they were able to really turn that around, and they took care of business. Opening round game, they won by about 72-35 at National, so they won their Class 2A quarterfinals game easily. But the semifinals, Class 2A semifinals, they ran into Indianapolis Eastside Golden Eagles, most storied program in Indiana. While it was not one of their banner years by any stretch of the imagination, it was a great game, 49-48. That Kansas City Metro was able to hang on. Coach Sullivan said they never trailed in the game, but and Eastside hit a few shots at the end, but that's a great challenge for them. Their next round, Class 2A championship game, number 1 overall seed in Class 2A, KC Metro Mavericks versus number 3, HCYA Warriors out of Houston. And for you homeschool basketball fans over the last decade, it's kind of unfathomable HCYA being number 3 in their own class. And what a challenge for Kansas City Metro to be the number 1 seed and the favorite, but here they've got HCYA. And I talked to Coach Sullivan about that, and you know, their approach, just one game at a time. They had a chance to play that game in front of, I think, about 2,500 to 3,000 people were packed out as we were getting ready for some ceremonies that evening on Wednesday night, the slam dunk finals, the three-point shooting finals, all-American teams being named, all-region teams being named, and the crowd was really pro-HCYA. So every time HCYA would make a run, the crowd would get excited, and Metro just found a way, just held their composure. And a big part of that was just the leadership on this team. Alex Cortez, an All-American, was a senior, and his leadership, he graduated this past year. That's going to be one that they're going to miss. They're also going to miss Jared Hill and Nate Rector, 2 other seniors from this 2014 and 15 squad that finished in the national top 5. However, they have great young talent coming back. They've got returning starters, Sterling Knight, Clay McCullough, Nick Volz. Clay McCullough is an All-American, so that's a great core to start building around. They also have Braden Unruh. I'm sorry for butchering your name, Braden. Braden Unruh, Zach Hill, Caleb Ross, and Ethan Tallman that are all coming back. And three of those guys split starting time at different times in the season. This Metro Mavericks team will not be rebuilding like they were in the 2013 and 14 season, where they were fortunate to get 20 wins and finish as the runner-up of Division 1D. It just wasn't, it's not the same. This team will have great senior leadership. They will have good young talent. They're going to be a force again this year in the Heartland Championships, and their win over KC Metro at the regional third-place game was just huge. It really put them in position to be the number 1 overall seed in Class 2A. And yes, they had to play HCYA, but it was a winnable game for them, and they proved that, and they showed the guts they had. Had they won that game, had they lost that game, it would have been a huge disappointment. But just from the standpoint of going out, performing, and showing that they can compete with not just any team, but the best of the best in the nation. They knocked off the Nashville NCC Warriors in a gold ball showdown series game that was following their loss to the Indy Wildcats, and that really cemented this season for them. They were fighters, they were champions, and they went out and they proved to the entire homeschool basketball world that the Kansas City Metro Mavericks are back and better than ever. And I'm really excited about what the 2015 and 16 season has, but I don't want to lose how special that 2014 and 15 squad is. And the bottom line, in Kansas City right now, there's a lot of competition for, as Coach Sullivan talked about, they're competing for the same players, and while there's not necessarily recruiting going on or anything like that, there's natural. If you're not happy at one program, you go over to the other. And that always happens in cities that you have multiple homeschool sports teams. And I think that what Metro accomplished this year shows that there's a stability at their head coaching position, there's a stability within their program, and they know how to maximize their talent. Kansas City East Lions, for all that that were keeping score, they actually got knocked off in the Class A semifinals, and so they didn't make it to a gold ball, while their rivals made it all the way, not just to a gold ball game, won a gold ball, and bringing home the first ever gold ball to the Kansas City varsity boys area. That's quite some bragging rights for a team that all season long looked up. And it all started at regionals when they knocked off Kansas City East and making their record 1-1. And for those of you that follow how the seeding's done, if you're 1-1 against a team during the year, the tiebreaker goes to the result at regionals. And if you're 1-1 just during the year, if you have 2-2 record, whatever, whoever finishes higher at regionals gets that nod. And they certainly made the most of that win. So, Kansas City Metro Maverick fans, you have a lot to be proud of. You have a lot to look forward to next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll be right back. We're going to be covering National number 6. And for you that have been paying attention closely, you knew there were 4 teams that we considered for National number 3. I've now covered 3 of those, and there's only one team left. It's out of Tennessee, and we'll be back. Thank you for watching.